Russia has blocked Facebook and Twitter and passed a law giving Moscow much stronger powers to crack down on independent journalism, prompting the BBC, Bloomberg, and other foreign media to suspend reporting in the country. Key points: those spreading information about the war that the Russian government does not like could face up to 15 years in jail. Those spreading information about the war that the Russian government does not like could face up to 15 years in jail. Moscow claims foreign media have been spreading fake news about the invasion of Ukraine. Moscow claims foreign media have been spreading fake news about the invasion of Ukraine. Russian state media outlets refer to the invasion only as a special military operation. The state communications watchdog, Roskomnadzor, said it cut access to Twitter and Facebook in line with a decision by the Prosecutor General's office. The watchdog has previously accused Twitter of failing to delete the content banned by Russian authorities and slowed down access to it. Twitter said in a statement that while the company was aware of reports that its platform was blocked in Russia, it had not been able to confirm whether this was the case. In blocking Facebook, Roskomnadzor cited its alleged discrimination of the Russian media and state information resources. The agency said in a statement that the restrictions introduced by Facebook owner Meta on the Russian news channel RT and other state-controlled media violate Russian law. Nick Clegg, Meta's president of global affairs, tweeted in response to Russia's action that millions of ordinary Russians will find themselves cut off from reliable information. We will continue to do everything we can to restore our services so they remain available to people to safely and securely express themselves and organize for action, he said. Loading. Media outlets suspend operations in Russia. Media outlets and individuals spreading information that contradicts the Russian government's narrative on the war could face up to 15 years in prison under the new bill. The bill was quickly rubber-stamped by both houses of the Kremlin-controlled parliament and signed by Mr. Putin. Multiple media outlets said they would pause their work inside Russia to evaluate the situation. CNN and CBS News said they would stop broadcasting in Russia, while Bloomberg and the BBC said they would temporarily suspend the work of their journalists there. Russian authorities have repeatedly and falsely decried reports of Russian military setbacks or civilian deaths in Ukraine as fake news. Russian state media does not refer to Russia's actions in Ukraine as an invasion. State media outlets refer to Russia's invasion of Ukraine as a special military operation, rather than a war or an invasion. Vyacheslav Volodin, the Speaker of the lower house of Parliament, said the measure will force those who lied and made statements discrediting our armed forces to bear very grave punishment. I want everyone to understand, and for society to understand, that we are doing this to protect our soldiers and officers, and to protect the truth, he said. The law envisages sentences of up to 3 years or fines for spreading what authorities deem to be false news about the military, but the maximum punishment rises to 15 years for cases deemed to have led to severe consequences. Former U.S. Ambassador to Russia Michael McFaul said that the question regarding Russia was no longer what we do to stop disinformation. The question has to be, how do we promote information inside Russia? And I don't have the answer. Mr. McFaul said Mr. Putin's crackdown on the media is an indicator of his state of mind. Obviously Putin is shutting these people down because he is afraid, he said. He wouldn't be shutting them down if everything was going peachy keen. Bill appears to criminalize journalism. BBC Director General Tim Davie said the legislation appears to criminalize the process of independent journalism. The safety of our staff is paramount, and we are not prepared to expose them to the risk of criminal prosecution simply for doing their jobs, he said. Mr. Davie said the BBC's Russian-language news service would continue to operate from outside Russia. Yesterday, the Russian government imposed blocks on 5 news outlets: the BBC, the US government-funded Voice of America, and Radio Free Europe, or Radio Liberty, German broadcaster Deutsche Welle, and Latvia-based website Meduza. The BBC will temporarily suspend the work of its journalists in Russia. The government's sweeping action against the foreign outlets that publish news in Russian seeks to establish even tighter controls over what information the domestic audience sees about the invasion of Ukraine. Roskomnadzor said those media had published false information on subjects including the methods of carrying out combat activities, the numbers of losses of the Russian Federation armed forces, and victims among the civilian population. Earlier today, the BBC posted instructions on Twitter about how Russian readers could work around the block by using apps or the dark web. Access to accurate, independent information is a fundamental human right, which should not be denied to the people of Russia, millions of whom rely on BBC News every week, it said. We will continue our efforts to make BBC News available in Russia and across the rest of the world. Loading. Some well-known media outlets within Russia have chosen to close rather than face heavy restrictions on what they can report. News website Snack said it was closing Friday morning, shortly after the parliament approved the draft bill. On Thursday, Russia's top independent radio station Echo Moskvy was closed and independent TV station DOS suspended operations after receiving a threat of closure from the authorities. AP, ABC.